Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a reading channeled through from your ancestors. I have 4 piles today, and the reading is going to consist of your past life and some weaving themes, maybe even past lives, and some weaving themes throughout those lives or your family's lineage. And then it's going to talk about a specific family trauma that is still affecting you today. And finally, it's going to be some advice from your ancestors. So I have 4 piles for you today. I'm going to introduce the piles. I have this beautiful Megalodon tooth necklace that was made by my friend. I will link his information below. It's absolutely stunning. He wire wrapped that. And secondly, I have this seashell. It's I think like a black scallop shell. And for pile number 3, we have Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas, a little doll. And for pile number 4, we have this little brooch. It fell off my best friend's bag at my house right before I moved to Florida. She told me I could throw it out. I said, I would never. I'm going to remember this and keep this to remember you by, since we are so far away now. So that is the 4 piles. And this is probably going to be very specific, so if you're not feeling one of these piles, then there probably isn't a message for you, but there most certainly could be a message for you in another reading on my page. So go check that out. And if you're feeling drawn to more than one, there might be more than one past life or more than one ancestor that's trying to contact you. So that's also a possibility. But just take a moment to breathe with the decks. Take a moment to think about your ancestors, your family lineage, possibly some traumas and how they're affecting you. And this could be something a very long time ago. And also, I just wanted to mention, this is like the first time I'm doing a reading like this, and I also have some new decks. So it might take me a moment to get the actual meanings out for some of these readings, but I hope you will be patient with me, because I'm sure that this is going to be very healing. All right, let's take a moment to take some deep breaths. Feel free to pause the video if you want to continue taking some deep breaths. And once you've selected your pile, I will leave the timestamps down below so you can go straight to the pile that is for you. Okay, let's get into it. I am going to light this candle here to start off the reading. Ooh. It's struggling to light. I guess there's a lot of wind coming through, even though I turned off the AC and turned off the fan. Oh, the fan above me is still on. I hope you all can't hear that. Maybe I should... Hold on. Let's see. Turn that off. See if maybe it will slow down a bit. Okay, it's getting better. All right, now I'm going to get right into it. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose this beautiful Megalodon tooth that is wire wrapped, I don't know what's in there, maybe aventurine and onyx possibly? I am not sure. And copper. then this is going to be your reading. I'm going to put on some of my oils. This one is called Illuminate. You can also roll them up candles to anoint them. This one is called Peace. Put it on the candle as well. And this one is called Blessing. I'll roll that on there. Okay. So this reading is going to start with your past lives. Ooh, these wanted to come out together. And then go into some weaving themes. And the main trauma. And some advice from your elders. I am not positive that this is how it is supposed to be laid out, but it seemed to come out that way. And it seemed to want to go this way. Let me make sure you can see all these. Okay, that's better. You don't get to see the candle, but you get to see your cards, so that's probably better. Okay, it's not perfectly straight, but we shall continue. Okay. Starting with your past life, I think that's pretty obvious there. You were a shaman, and you probably trusted in the higher forces because it says that. We pull out the card. This is from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle Guidebook. It is a beautiful, beautiful deck. I love what it is written, and the cards are so beautiful. The message, trust in your angels, guides, and ancestors. Oh my gosh. Of course, your ancestors want you to trust them during this reading. And if you have given your power away, claim it back. So they're already giving you some advice there, and this may be something that happened to you in your past life, that you were a very powerful person, that everybody looked to you for healing and guidance, and you probably got a bit overwhelmed at one point, and we'll find out probably more about that, but moving on. Yes, you were helping the human race to understand their complexities of life and the needs of the Mother Earth. You were a spiritual guide. You were a light worker. You probably still are. You probably still hold this inside of you. Yes, when there was illness and disease, people came to you. It says, a person's power had been left behind somewhere, and a negative pattern had been installed in them. So this is what happened to you in your past life. You were healing people, and you were doing really, really important work with the divine, and something happened. It says, you know, some people might call that like a demon, actually. But some negative force happened within your lineage of your past lives and your ancestors. And you lost this power. You lost... It's not that it's completely gone, you know, like, of course, you still have this power, but like it said, like, uninstalled, it's like you almost forgot that it existed, this healing energy that you were able to move through the universe, move the healing energy of the universe to people, and see their complexities, but something happened. Yeah, lower energies came in. Yeah, you must trust the spiritual energies that are guiding you. That's why the first thing it started was trust your ancestors, because your ancestors are the ones that I'm channeling this message for. And I think that maybe trust is something that you've kind of struggled with. It may be part of the reason that this cycle ended. There are spiritual allies working in your favor, and miracles will unfold much more easily when you move into a state of trust. Oh my god, I just said that. That is so funny. It is so true. Let me grab some water. Yeah, drink some water, okay, if you have some next to you. If you don't, get some, because you should always be drinking water. Yes, you must trust. They're already giving you some advice here. Okay, call back your power. Yeah, your power was lost somewhere along the lines, so call it back. Stop allowing external forces to divert you from the miracles you deserve and the miracles you can give to other people. I want to say that too, because you were a shaman, you were a healer. Allow them to send you intuitive guidance and messages that will allow you to connect this situation and come out on top. The shaman card also shows that you have shamanic potential to move between the realms and connect with your guides in an extremely personal way. Yeah, so I mean, this channeling right here is a way that you can listen and trust, but there's always going to be signs given to you. You know, maybe an owl, maybe if you see an owl, that might be a sign. But some, like a feather, maybe even possibly an antler if you're walking through the woods. But there's going to be signs sent to you and synchronicities, and you're just going to feel like, I need to do this. You know, like I moved to Florida and I had never even been to the location that I moved to. It was just my mind telling me, and I absolutely love it here. So it's just, sometimes you have to really like fall into that faith and just go with your gut always. Now, moving on, we have the wolf and the rose hip. Guardianship. Yeah, so you were a guardian, and this was reverse. So yeah, it seems like I think in the beginning it said like you felt very overwhelmed. I think there was too many people trying to come get help from you. It got very overwhelming. Let's see what the book says for this one. There might be a specific word. You are at a crossroads and in need of guidance. Advice from a trusted friend or family member may help you find your way. Yeah, it's pretty obvious right now. They're already trying to give you advice. They want you to connect with them regularly. They want you to call on your ancestors and have that be a part of your daily life. Say that, like, ancestors, what can you tell me? It reminds me of that like scene in Mulan, you know, with the ancestors and ancestors. Yeah, that's what it's reminding me of right now. Like, I feel like they are calling you right now to give you some additional information about your past lives. Like, you can uncover a lot more if you listen to them on a daily basis. Maybe even journal saying, ancestors, what can you tell me today? And just start writing and see what comes through you. Like, you can channel too. You have this divine ability. In fact, I believe that every single person in the world does. Whom can I mentor? How can I be a leader in my community? Who do I turn to for help? Yeah, so you were a leader in your community, very much so. You were a mentor. And I think that there got a point where you didn't know who to turn to for help. You know, you felt like you had to stay this like powerful figure that everyone trusted. But what happens when you break down? Well, the whole system broke down because of how many people needed you. And I'm gonna say probably disease or famine, you know, something like that. Something very intense happened with a large community of people being all sick at once. And it's possible that that's also when you passed away as well, due to being around so many sick people and trying to help them. Yeah, I'm definitely getting that coming through. Okay, and we're gonna move on to the weaving themes. This is a brand new deck to me. My boyfriend got it for me for my birthday. It's the archetype deck. Yes, the Wild Unknown archetype deck. I also have the tarot as well, the Wild Unknown, which I love, so I really wanted to get everything that Kim Kranz makes. So this is brand new to me. I'm really going to have to take a moment and figure out what these mean. I might read right out of the book, or I might just like take snippets of it. Okay, starting with the mentor. I'm getting a sense that throughout many of your lives, you have connected to the cosmic knowledge. You've been able to channel, let things flow through you, let healing energy flow through you. I already touched on that a little bit. You know, you're a mentor, as simple as that, just like the shaman. You help people throughout many of your lives, all of your lives, in fact, you know, the themes that you've had. And it says that you have the gift for reading the room. Yeah, that's that intuition and noticing just little movements, the way someone's eyes look, their shoulders, the way that their voice sounds, just the curl in their mouth, like, you know, a slight downward or a slight upward. You can really tell what people are thinking, and just the energy of the room. You can see it like bouncing off of people in a conversation. Yeah, your gift is to know what serves the soul. You are at the service of the greater cosmic good, and you aid in the elevation of consciousness. Anytime the mentor forgets this humble link and mistakes themselves for the source of enlightenment, the archetype falls into shadow. So it's possible that could have happened at one point, where you thought, I am the one who's healing, rather than, you know, I'm pushing this energy from spirit, from the universe, from whatever you want to call it, the connection between all, and instead say, it's me, I'm special, you know? That's a possibility that could have happened in one of your past lives. And the orphan. Yes, you study the deep and challenging energy of our time. We are ever more connected, yet face collective isolation. The refugee crisis haunts our planet. Children are separated from parents, and the earth begs for our attention. We are in a time of universal orphanage, of nature, of each other, of our own hearts. Take refuge in the fact that we all share this core wound and dilemma. It is our normal fear, this card, as it haunts the caverns of the soul. When it appears, take time, real time, to be in the presence of the feelings that this card stirs in you. Let it humble you. What are you starving for? What is the deepest gift you could imagine giving to others? What has been rejected is quite possibly what is most needed. So, you know, in your past lives, you have done deep shadow work. You have seen, like I said, you know, with this illness, you have seen serious tragedy, serious destruction, and been there on the front lines. I'm like getting teary thinking about how much work you've done in all of these lives. Just there for people, healing people, understanding people, making people feel seen and loved and part of a community. Not like an orphan. That is what you have done for people, and all while truly seeing some very, very deeply dark things happen in this world, and continue to see them, you know, as it mentioned, refugees and the earth and the planet, all while continuing to be the light in life. That is what you have done. That is very special. And the eternal child, it is connected to the timeless, ageless, and infinite aspects of life. It is radiant and fearless and seeks joy above all else at any cost. That's right. I feel like you've tried to bring joy and have brought joy to people in the darkest of times, you know, just through your smile or just through your sound, you know. I'm getting like bringing a safe place for people, soft things to sit on, and good smells and good food, and bringing like a community, like a long table together, and laughing and drinking and eating, a lot of that. Yes, go beyond what others say is possible. Truly, you are a dreamer. You see the reality where people are all taken care of. You choose to make that your goal throughout all of your lives. It wants to return with plenty of friends to the land of the free, where divine wine and creativity pour from the earth and sky. Exactly. We want a sip from the well of eternal youth, and this makes Eternal Child naturally popular, perhaps even famous. The Eternal Child glimmers. It reminds us of what is possible, what is magical about this precious life. So yeah, you choose to see the magic in life, and if you haven't been feeling that way, I think it's time to try to do that connection, and it's time to get that connection back in your life, and just laugh and drink with friends, and, you know, around a round table, long table, whatever, have a great meal together, and really just try to enjoy life in your community, and talk about the problems, talk about what needs to be done, give gifts to people, and be a part of the community garden or something like that. Do what you can. Get that personal power back. It's possible that you, since this is something that you've done in all of your lives, you already are like a shaman to people. You already are like somebody that, for instance, like a tarot reader or something like that, where people come to you for advice, or just in general, you know, you don't have to be a tarot reader to be channeling divine messages. You probably find in this lifetime that you say just the right thing that somebody needs to hear, or do something that where they message you and say, thank you so much, you really lit up my life, like I don't think I would be the person I am today without you. I can definitely see you being that kind of person. And now we're going to get on to the main trauma that happened. I almost want to jump ahead and say, yeah, this Ten of Wands, it's about being overburdened. That's what happened to you. You were extremely overburdened. But let's start with the temple path. You know, it's reversed here. I feel like there was like this disconnect that happened, possibly, like it said, through at one point and in one of your lives, thinking that you were the source of the power. But let's look at this one from the Energy Oracle cards. Okay, I am back. I actually had a meal. I feel like I need to turn the light on, actually. Okay, there we go. Didn't have the light on before. I had a meal. It's funny, your advice actually has make a meal in it. And I guess staring at that long enough subconsciously told me to go eat some like blueberries and applesauce, and I had an empanada as well. and some hummus. So lots of nutritious things and vegetables. That's definitely coming through, but I'm definitely getting ahead of myself here. With your trauma, we have the Temple Path reverse. Receiving this card reverse is a sign that you may have fallen off your path. You could be too focused on worldly possessions and material gain, or you may simply be maintaining old unhealthy habits of fear, limitation, worry, or doubt. So these are different things that have happened to you in different past lives, where basically you fell off your healing path because of fear, doubt. You know, maybe everyone's feeling sick at once and you start really doubting your ability to help at all. And then it also says worldly possessions and material gain, so you got off your path in that way as well in a different lifetime. Whatever is distracting you, receiving this card reverse is a firm message that it's time to make your spiritual life and evolution a much higher priority. Not doing so represents an important loss of power. So clear your mind, meditate, and open to the presence of spirit. Whatever else you may have going on, consider this an important part of your personal and tactical plans. The support and inspiration of all eternity and countless loving spirits are available to you. Not turning to them is like cursing the dark when you refuse to turn on the lights. Yet again, it seems the loving spirits, your ancestors, and they're trying to reach out to you. And I think it's interesting, the eternal child, and it said eternity, so you have this infinite wisdom and infinite energy of love available to you, and it's saying that you must use it now. Quiet that mind, do some meditation, and call on your ancestors. It's telling you to make the spirituality, you know, being the shaman, a much bigger part of your life. The Ten of Wands almost always indicates someone who is not only carrying a heavy burden, but is probably toiling under burdens that really belong to others. Are you one of those people who is always trying to fix everyone else's problems? Do you carry the load for your family, your friends, and everyone else who crosses your path? If so, it is probably time to take another look at what burdens you are carrying. So yeah, it just goes back to exactly what I said about your past life, is that you were taking on everything. You were trying to be the one that heals everybody without asking anybody for help for you to help heal people, without people trying at all to heal themselves, without, you know, with people taking advantage of you basically, and even you giving yourself burdens that you never needed to take in the first place. And I have a feeling this is something that is continued on in this lifetime, and probably the fear as well, and not turning to your ancestors. So, you know, doubt and fear, and this burden. So I think that your main trauma is what I said before, is that, and it was also mentioned in the orphan here as well, is that you saw immense trauma. You saw trauma of so many people around you, and you took it all on for yourself, and you never really let go of that. And your ancestors are here saying now that it's time for you to put down this weight that you've carried around for so long on your lineage. It's not your fault. You can put it down. People can take care of themselves. You can help them, but in the end, you know, they also have to help themselves. So if they're not doing their half, or even a part of it, then maybe it's time to walk away from those people and just unburden yourself. That's what the main trauma is, you taking the burdens of everyone onto you. It was because you saw some horrors, and I think you feel that it's your fault that so many people died. But that's just not true. It's not your fault at all. So I hope that your spirit hears that message and really takes that as truth and lets that free you. You deserve that. You did so much work. And now you can turn again to the divine and have that guidance flow through you and that healing power flow through you with good boundaries and knowing when to not carry the weight of everything and knowing when to turn to others for help. Okay, your advice is the grandmothers from the Medicine Woman Inner Guidebook. We are the grandmothers, and the moon is our symbol. We are intuitive knowledge that you feel or sense. Knowledge that seems to be within your body. Our teaching is this: trust your body. Your body subtly reacts to everything you present it and gives you feedback as to whether a particular thing is right for you in that moment. At night, when you sleep and dream, your body goes through experiences that it needs in order to live life you are attempting to live. Your thoughts lay out the blueprint and your body tells you what to do. Moment by moment, through its feeling responses, it lets you know if you have erred in your planning. It gives you peace and joy if you have planned well. Yeah, so I love how this card, it has your ancestors, I don't know if you can see that. It has your ancestors healing you at night. It has them placing the information in you. And it's really telling you to trust your body. So if, you go to a party and you're getting this horrible feeling at this party, maybe it's time to leave at that exact moment. Just listen. I think I said trust your gut in this reading, and it started with trust, and they really want you to trust them, and they want you to trust your body. You will get messages, it said that, you will get messages through your body. So, like for instance with me, I got messages basically that I can't drink anymore because I was just really sick every single time that I drink alcohol. And then same with eating a lot of fried foods. It makes me feel sick. And I pretty much, oh my goodness, that palm leaf is coming. Ew, that's creepy. There's someone playing music outside and a palm leaf like scratching on the window. So if you hear that, I do apologize. But either way, what I was saying is that like certain foods I realized I couldn't continue to eat because of the way that it made my body feel. And this last card here is make a meal, so I think food is definitely a huge aspect of this. You need to be listening to your body when a certain food makes you feel good. Like I said that, blueberries and applesauce and hummus with vegetables and, just homemade food that is nourishing your soul. Things like that. I think I also said eating and drinking around a table with all your friends. You will find a lot of healing in that practice. So they really want you to listen. They said read a room, in the beginning. They want you to get back into that, read a room with your body. How is your body feeling? Check in with your body on a minutely, secondly, infinitely basis. Always be checking in. Thought and action, will and movement. These are the things that reorganize your body cells. Old cells embodying old ideas die, and new cells containing your new ideas are born. You are constantly recreating yourself in your own image. This creative energy is so strong that unless you are using your talents and abilities creatively in the world, you may begin creating excess body in the form of fat or cancer, or perhaps even an entire new person, a baby. So yeah, it's saying that, you know, if you're not using this energy that you have that flows through you, healing and creating art and being a mentor and dancing and making food and taking care of yourself and singing and playing drums and doing all these things, that it will start to build up in you. And you, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's exactly like that. Like, you can, of course, I think that you can be fat and also be very spiritual and very understanding and do all the things that you need to do. I think that everybody really has a, you know, the ability to do that. And I don't think that, like, how fat you are is a reflection of that. But, you know, that's what it's saying in this book. I just want to make that clear that I don't necessarily agree with that part of it. You know, maybe there are some buildups, and maybe, you know, in certain areas you'll be able to figure that out based on the way that part of your body feels. But I'm not gonna just like straight up say like, oh, if you're fat then you have built up energy inside of you or something like that. But that is specifically what this book is saying. New knowledge gained in the reflective state of meditation is incorporated into your body. I wanted to say that you are changing who you are as a person by the habits that you have every day. So if there's self-destructive habits like drinking too much, excess drinking, or you know, doing drugs, or just sitting and scrolling on your phone all day every day, or watching TV kind of aimlessly, and you don't really have any hobbies, or you don't really like put your love into eating a meal and things like that, then it really is going to start affecting you and your body. And I think that that's a way that you can release some of that built up energy, is really to be like fully connected on a daily basis. It's not easy to get to that level right away. Like, it does take some practice. It's possibly something that you're already aware of. It's how I live my life. I just basically am constantly checking in with the universe, with my body, with ancestors and my future self. It's just a constant. You can pull from that knowledge at any time. New knowledge gained in the reflective state of meditation is incorporated into your body. Your mental organization becomes your physical organism. We are the grandmothers who speak in wisdom. Break out of your shell. The old ways of thinking that lock you inside, pass by your personality's desire. We are the grandmothers who speak in wisdom. Break out of your shell. The old ways of thinking that lock you inside. Pass by your personality's desires and your education as well. Walk between the towers of thought, following the path to the high mountain of spiritual intuition. There's infinite wisdom ahead. Yeah, so it's saying, listen, no matter if it sounds wrong at first because it's not what you've known, but listen and believe and trust in that knowledge that is given to you. I've been told very strange things. I've asked very strange questions, you know, like, oh, in the spirit realm, are there cats? And they're like, yeah, everyone's here. Maya. You know, they laugh at me sometimes because of my weird questions, but you can really get an answer to everything if you call out. And it definitely was telling you to meditate. It wants you to organize your mind state. So a tip that I have is, you can think a thought, and you're like really focusing on the fact that it is a thought. It's just a thought that's happening. It's just neurons firing, right? And then you say, okay, that's a thought. Then who is describing this as a thought? Who is the viewer? And then you can try to go up a level, like, can I be this viewer? Can I be the one who does not actually think the word thought, but rather is viewing that it is a thought? That is a possibility. That is a way to open up to higher levels of consciousness. And I think that's everything I wanted to say with this card. And finally, for your self-care, we have make a meal, which, has already popped up quite a few times during this reading. I am nourished by food infused with love. Yeah, you definitely should be cooking your own meals or cooking with friends, family, loved ones, or having them cook for you. Either way, you should feel nourished by, having love in your heart during the process, being present in the moment of creating that food, and really feel joyous and grateful that it's there, kind of like how in Christianity people say grace, but you can do it however you want. When made with love and intention, food has the power to nourish us beyond a physical level. Prepare yourself a beautiful meal that's healthy and delicious, perhaps a favorite from childhood or a dish with seasonal ingredients bought from a market or shop offering organic and local produce. Remain mindful and present throughout the entire process. Consciously infusing love and gratitude into the food that you make. Eat it with the same level of presence and appreciation, whether you are hosting a grand feast with loved ones or a weekend dinner for one. A simple dish or the most complex cuisine, take great pride in knowing that your two hands created it. Yeah, so it mentions childhood meals again, so I think your ancestors want you to get into some childhood meals and then also eat some organic, local grown food, because maybe it's something that your ancestors have had. I'm thinking like zucchini and squash and greens and corn and things like that are definitely coming through to me for some healthy things that you can be eating. And like for snacks, like I had like some hummus and fruit and vegetables, things like that. Not all the time, but it's definitely a good practice to implement if it's not something that you already do. And I think that is everything I have for you today, pile number one. What a beautiful reading. I hope that this gave you some clarity on your past lives and what you can do to help. So let go of some of that burden and know that you are a very wise healer and a divine person that is just like everyone else, able to channel the light and the spirit and the source and the essence of the connection of life. You are able to help heal people, and it's important that you make sure that you have boundaries and maybe even spiritual boundaries created so that you're not taking on everyone's problems all at once and not helping yourself and not nourishing yourself. And getting good sleep is definitely also coming through. They want to nourish you in your sleep and give you some messages right before you go to bed, and right when you wake up. You probably will notice that you have some really strange messages sent to you, like, oh, you need to do this, or you need to, like for me it's like, pick this up and put this and put these cards here, Oh my goodness, this palm is just scratching on the window. That is everything I have for you today. I definitely hope it resonated for you. I love you, pile number one. I'm going to leave all the decks that I used today down below, as well as my tip information and my Amazon wish list if you would like to contribute. I would be very appreciated. I'm actually going to be getting my website for my perfume up and running soon, and I'll be able to get those sent out soon because as some of you know, I lost everything in a fire. I lost my printer and I lost all of my supplies for sending out orders, as well as labels and business cards and everything. So that will be up and running soon. I feel like nature is saying hello with this poem. And yeah, that will be up and running soon. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. I love you. Bye. Darcy said goodbye too. Okay. Hello, pile number 2. If you chose this seashell, then this is going to be your reading from the eyes of your ancestors, and we're going to talk a little bit about your past life and some difficulties you may have faced throughout many of your lives. And I have something before the reading even starts. When I went to go start this reading, I actually, well, the other day, and then I took a long break. My order from ThredUp, which is like an online thrift store, came, and I got this shirt. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it has a little whale on it. And it says, "Protect our ocean, protect our future." And it was taking a really long time to come, and I found it kind of funny that it came right when your reading was supposed to start, and you have a seashell here. And I felt really called to wear it today for this reading, and I think that it's because, you know, with the seashell, probably throughout many of your lives you have been tied to water, and maybe in this lifetime you are supposed to help clean up our oceans, help protect our oceans, help protect ocean wildlife, like whales, for instance. But there's so many options. Maybe even donate, or you know, just be part of an organization or something. But that was just coming through to me. It makes sense with the seashell there, and I wanted to go ahead and say that before this reading even started. But we're going to get into the cards now, and we're going to have the first section is your one of your past lives, or possibly explaining a couple of your past lives, and then weaving themes throughout most of your past lives, and then we're gonna have the main trauma, and then the ancestors' advice. So we have 4 sections, and I'm not really sure how many cards are in each section, but we shall see. And let me also light this candle. I know it's off frame, but I'd rather you see your cards than see the candle. But I had to relight it for you guys. I think I'm gonna blow it out and relight it for each reading so we get a new energy in there. All right, let's start it up. Okay, your past life, Oracle reversed, the world reversed, oh boy, and weaving themes, the vessel, the venom. Oh wow, these are facing each other, look at that. And why, there's a lot of cards here. I'm not sure which section they go in, but maybe they go in multiple. We have the, oh, you know what? I feel like that one's supposed to go there. And the main trauma, 8 of Pentacles. That doesn't seem too much like a trauma, but we shall see. We shall see what that means. The 6 of Wands reverse and the King of Pentacles reverse. So looks like difficulty with abundance. And the ancestors' advice, warrior, exemplar of pipes, and abundance planning. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that makes sense since jumping ahead, but one of your main traumas is the King of Pentacles reverse. Making sure you can see everything. Okay. I feel called to put this Illuminate on. I'm going to go ahead and put that on right now. Okay. Your past life. So we have Oracle, and I wonder what it means reverse. I don't think I've ever got this card reversed. Wait for important information. I'm going to pull out the book. I can imagine that you are probably an oracle, like similar to what I do here. You know, basically giving people information, divinely channeling information, people coming to you for that information, maybe asking you to, you know, back in the day, they'd probably come to you like, when should I plant my crops? And, you know, when am I going to die? And all kinds of random things that they would ask. But yeah, I'm definitely getting that sense that people came to you for deep wisdom and information. But with the world reversed here, obviously, in one of your past lives, they're both reversed here, and we have this circle kind of connecting them. Your whole world was flipped upside down. You know, maybe we can find out about that in your trauma, but you know, when the world is upright, it's a very positive card. In fact, it's pretty much a positive card no matter what, because it just talks about the connection to the divine and through all people and all things. So it's very positive. But something happened in one of these past lives where, you know, you still have that connection. It never goes away, but maybe you lost sight of that connection, or you know, you stopped being the oracle. You stopped finding that higher knowledge through reaching out to the divine or the universe and channeling messages. Something happened. Let's see what this means about your past life. The oracle is the truth speaker, the insight bringer, the ancestor who will be your best outspoken girlfriend, someone who will tell you exactly what you need to hear to move forward. In this deck, she is reminiscent of the Oracle of Delphi. The Oracle of Delphi, a psychic priestess of ancient Greece who was able to receive information and make predictions. So, you know, it's possible that specifically you could be the Oracle of Delphi, but it's possible that you lived in ancient Greece. I would imagine so, since it's specifically calling on that. She holds a bowl that has sacred smoke rising out of it, bringing the message to look beyond all you can see and gather information in order to make an accurate evaluation of your current situation. So I would take this quite literally. I imagine that in this lifetime you did actually do smoke readings for people, and you probably did live in ancient Greece. And I really like the picture on this. It definitely looks very Greek. Angels, ancestors, and the universe are speaking to you at this time. So look and listen for important conversations, signs, and messages that will point you in the right direction. You are being guided to wait for more information before making any fast moves, because at the moment you are letting your wants get in the way of your needs. There is an opportunity for you to see everything clearly at this time, but you will only be able to do so if you are willing to truly open your eyes. If you have been waiting for further information about a choice you have to make or an action you have to take, don't take matters into your own hands, but let what needs to be revealed, and then you'll know what to do next. Angels are supporting you. Trust them. So It looks like they're giving you some additional information there and telling you, you know, if there's a choice that you have to make right now to kind of let something be revealed before you make this choice. But I think more importantly, it's telling you to look at the signs. You know, I think the world really speaks on that as well. It's about all those connections and the synchronicities. So if somebody says like, oh, you should go to this park, it's amazing, and then like you see a picture of it when you're scrolling through Facebook or something, and you're like, oh my god, I should really go to that park, and then you go there, and then you like meet someone, and then you guys hang out a lot, like then they have more information for you, etc., etc. It kind of all is flowing for you to get the information that you need. So that's just an example. Obviously, it can be with anything, with any information, but if you notice it in multiple places, if you see it on TV, wherever, messages can be sent to you through anything. I used to sit and decipher lyrics when I felt that they were really seriously calling to me. I'm getting a very specific message from this world card, reverse, which, like I said, is typically all good. But what I'm getting is that in this lifetime where you were a Greek oracle, there was a task that was left unfinished, and you are here now in this lifetime to complete that cycle and complete that task from this lifetime. And it's, yeah, that's very specific. I wonder if it does have to do with the ocean, but we might be able to find out more about that. Moving on to the weaving themes that have been in many of your lifetimes, we have the vessel and the venom pointing each other here. This is a brand new deck that I just got, and I find this to be very interesting. I have a feeling that this means, at least like on a base level, that in many of your lifetimes there has been sickness inside of you. You have had many different illnesses. And like jumping down to here, I have this as your trauma, but I also think it could be tied into your themes, because I think that you were an alchemist as well. You made potions, healing potions, with herbs, elixirs, you know, being the oracle. I think people came to you for a lot of things like that. And I think, you know, you were someone that dealt with working with the venom in the vessel. You know, you dealt with people that were sick. It's very interesting. The last reading as well, the person dealt with people that were sick. So if you were feeling called to that, you might want to check that out. And then moving over onto the Ten of Pentacles here, you were very wealthy in this lifetime, or in probably many of your lifetimes. With the Ten of Pentacles, I mean, that's like abundance, and Pentacles is like coins, money, 10, completion. So you were stacked, you know. Maybe people are paying you quite well for your elixirs or your oracle readings. Maybe you worked for other wealthy people or the king, but you were basically within high society, I would say, especially in this lifetime when you were the oracle. But throughout many of your lifetimes, you have experienced a lot of money, a lot of wealth, and a lot of richness in happiness wise, just feeling abundant, feeling happy, feeling playful, having lots of friends and people around you. So you've experienced that throughout many of your lifetimes. Let's see what the vessel and the venom mean from the book. Since this is a brand new deck to me, the Archetypes Guidebook, my boyfriend got it for me for my birthday. And look, I'm drinking a kombucha that has elderflower, jasmine, and violet in it. I definitely was getting a feeling, it's called bloom, and I definitely was getting a feeling that you make tonics of like this kind with lots of herbs, definitely. An alchemist and an oracle, sounds a lot like me. Making perfume and doing these kind of readings. It's interesting. Maybe this reading is a little bit for me too, I think. The vessel may be the most powerful archetypal form on Earth. It is everywhere. Cups hold liquids, stoves hold fire, our bodies hold organs, our homes hold families. Through the simple act of separation, the vessel protects what it contains. Nests protect the eggs, savings accounts protect our earnings. Even the planets are contained within their circular orbit. When this card appears, it's time to assess what is being held together and how. Is the vessel too tight, too loose, broken, empty, full? Or perhaps there is no vessel at all, and the contents spill in every direction. It is natural for structures to be formed and eventually fall apart. The vessel has a life cycle that must be honored. It is time for you to build, break, or repair. You must find out. So, vessel, it's definitely going back yet again to me saying that you were an alchemist, just tying that in yet again. But also it's saying that probably what you were here to do is to build, break, or repair certain areas of life. No matter what that is, you are a fixer, even if that means tearing something down. You come into a problem zone and you are placed in that position in that lifetime to help fix the problems by, creating organizational methods or speaking the truth or, protesting or lighting something on fire or doing what you need to do, whatever that may be. You've really been like a powerhouse when it comes to getting things done exactly how they need to be done and connecting to the divine to do that. Figuring out what you need to make an entire section of the world, your hometown or wherever, feel more connected to the divine. So raise the vibration of that place by probably letting people know about this connection, the world. And thus changing the way that the spiritual bubble is in that way. It's quite hard to explain, but you can make a white light bubble around yourself if you're visualizing to protect yourself. Then you can make a white light bubble around your home. It can be really technically any color you want, but you can make like this spiritual permeable bond, it's like a membrane, but it's in the spiritual plane. And what's coming to me is that you were working on doing this. You were making these like spiritual bubbles to let good energy in and get rid of the negative energy. But I think what had happened was like venom came in. So darkness, somebody got through, some darkness got through, somebody permeated the membrane, somebody broke it. In fact, you're setting up this spiritual energy, protecting your people, protecting probably Greece in this lifetime, but this is throughout many themes. just protecting your area, the earth, but in other lifetimes you could have lived on different planets even. So even you could, I mean, depending on your skill set in the lifetime, you could be protecting a whole galaxy, you know? But, you know, focusing on yourself first and your home, and then going outwards, that has been something that you have done throughout many lifetimes. And if you don't do that, it's something that you need to start doing again. You need to start visualizing this energetic boundary and thinking about what types of people and things are allowed within that, and how to clear it. And yeah, maybe it's too tight, like it said, so maybe you can even move outwards and move to even bigger zone. You know, maybe you just want to do your block because you've only done your house before, but you keep going and you keep going, and you're protecting more people at that point. But yeah, I think that the venom got in, so let's see about that. Okay, for venom it says, much to our dismay, the venom is always lurking in the shadows in one form or another. Its toxic presence may be found in our relationships, thoughts, speech, or environment. Thankfully, the cycle of purification and detoxification comes so naturally that it is built into our every exhale. We breathe out carbon dioxide, and the plants return it to us as oxygen. Archetypal venom is rarely remedied as easily, however, and it can come in potent forms and quantities that are deeply damaging to us and to the world. When the venom card appears, there is a harmful substance in our psychic realm that must be identified. Perhaps your words have a sting of poison about them. Perhaps a relationship is slowly draining your reserves. Acknowledgement is the first step. Change is the second. The remedy will reveal itself in time, and with it, forgiveness. So yeah, as I said before, there's a negativity that came within this bubble, and it's very quite possible that it came from your own thought patterns, maybe, you know, or possibly, like I said, illness, that you were feeling ill and then you were doubting yourself and doubting your healing abilities, and that's how it got in. But either way, the earth is filled with it, you know. I believe in kind of like the yin yang, so I believe there's practically there's lots and lots of that dark stuff basically on earth. And you know, it's not terrible to encounter it, I don't think. Like, you know, shadows and light make up everything so that we can see the beauty of this world. So I don't think shadow is all bad or anything. I think bad and good are just perceptions, really. But I think it's really speaking on what you let in to your life, into your mind space, into your house, what items, and every single thing. That has been a problem that you've dealt with time and time again in many lifetimes, struggling to have boundaries, probably having some toxic thought patterns. Oh, I just touched that King of Pentacles reverse. I would definitely say that feeling of lack. I think that's probably a huge one, because here, you know, I said that you felt very abundant and you had lots of money. So it's possible that you had a run-in with money. You lost a lot of your money. Maybe some war happened or something happened, and maybe your coins didn't mean anything anymore, or something happened, everything was burned down, and you lost all of your things for divination. Who knows, but something happened and you lost a lot of money. That definitely happened in at least one of your lifetimes. And you felt like that let the venom in, you know. when you didn't know where to get money, or you didn't know where to get anything. You were like, this is all I've ever known. All I've ever known was, you know, living in a really nice place with really great things and really great clothes and pretty jewelry and all of the things I need. And then it was probably ripped away from you, like with this world card reversed here. That was ripped away from you, and it really let in a lot of negativity. I don't know if this is one life or many of your past lives, but it definitely let in a lot of negativity, and that's understandable. You know, it really is. It's happening again in this lifetime where things cost so much money, wages don't really pay for what you actually need. So many people are in poverty, and it's understandable to feel fear in that scenario. Like, why wouldn't you feel fearful when you feel your life and livelihood is at risk? And I think it's important to work through those emotions and know that it's not wrong to feel that way whenever your livelihood truly is at risk. And, you know, always be calling on to the universe to ask for help, and always turn to the universe in times of need. Obviously, turn to your community as well. But you're not a bad person, or there's nothing wrong with you for feeling fear when you lose money. There's nothing wrong with that. And we don't need to all be happy all the time. Like, it's not like you're not going to be enlightened because you have been through many difficulties and lived through poverty. Like, that's not how it works. In fact, it's a lot of those type of times where you do turn to divine resources and you say, please help me, like, I'm calling out. And then something crazy will happen. We have this abundance planning here as your self-care, and I just want to like jump right to that because it's going to help you in the long run to write out what you need and write out your goals in a clear and concise way so the universe knows exactly what you want and exactly what you need, and really what you need, not what you want. I mean, yeah, there are things you want. Like, I want coffee. I don't need it, but it's nice to have. You don't have to get it from Starbucks every day. You can make it yourself, you know, things like that. But either way, there's been some run-ins with money, that's for sure, throughout many of your lifetimes. And I definitely hope that in this lifetime that the universe hears your prayers, your community helps you, and you know, if you're not already feeling abundant, I do hope that you achieve that again in this lifetime, because I feel that you deserve it for speaking about the connection to people and working on creating these energetic bubbles of lovingness and community. So I definitely hope that comes to you in this lifetime. Okay, here's what I think this main trauma is saying with this Eight of Pentacles, Six of Wands reverse, and the King of Pentacles reverse. What I think was happening was, I believe it's in this same lifetime that you were mixing up all these potions, and as you can see, they cost you money, all of these herbs, and lots of time and effort and everything. And I believe you probably did have a store, and you were seen as a very important part of the community. And at one point you had a lot of money. With this Six of Wands reversed here, you can see that the community was gathering around you, and you were handing things out. So I think that what happened here was you gave away too much. You were giving, you were really, you were passionate about your work and your help with the, I think with this flower here, it's saying like you were giving out medicine, like herbal medicine to people, and you weren't making people pay. Like, I think at first you were working for like a higher class of people, and then you started working for a lower class of people, and you just saw the people on the streets, and they were sick and unwell, and the children, and you started giving away a lot of things. But I think what happened was you weren't really being recognized, or you didn't feel you were being recognized for your efforts. You still had your passion in what you did, but a lot of your passion for what you do is tied to how much money you're making, or how many people are appreciating you. And you weren't feeling appreciated, and you weren't making any money. So you were feeling an extreme lack of abundance. Like, you lost a lot of money doing this, and you felt like the entire community had taken advantage of you, taken advantage of your kindness in this way. Yet again, with these herbs and grapes and vines coming up your legs, like, you were very much an herbalist, and you used to be probably living the high life with the kings. I definitely think that at first you were working for the kings. You probably might have still been working for the kings, but then it somehow got cut off. Like, the king found out you were giving out things to the community, and he wasn't having that. It might not be a king, it could have just been some sort of other political leader, or someone higher up in class. But whoever was giving you most of your money, he found out that you were giving things away, and he stopped giving you money, and you had to shut your shop down, and you weren't able to help. And I definitely think that you got sick as well with the vessel and venom being here. So in this lifetime, I think it's important that you feel appreciated for your efforts. I think that comes back to this vessel and the venom, making sure that who you let in and who you give your energy out to, making these potions, it's like a metaphor for the energy that you give out. And you have to make sure that you're giving out to the right people. So that's your main trauma that happened. I do believe, I'm definitely getting a feeling that happened in the same lifetime, living in ancient Greece and being an oracle for higher class people. Okay, and moving on to your ancestors' advice for what you've learned today. Rest and success. That's what 7 means. That's funny. You probably need to rest more. It said in the oracle card, the first card, that you should pause if there's an important choice you have to make. And I think a good way to pause is definitely taking a rest. So that's just some numerology for you. I didn't realize that 7 meant rest. And it also means success. So I definitely think that you will achieve success in this lifetime, and the cycle will be complete. Affirmation. I am at a point of power for the divine plan which works unfailingly through me. Having set my will to follow the highest within, I am strengthened to express the victorious life. I am the warrior coming home. Whether you see me on horseback or chariot, know that I am transported by my power to will. I have taken charge of my life and its direction. Your vehicle for movement is symbolic of your mental discipline. It is the personality through which you carry out the great plan of the Creator within. Having experienced the energies of cards 1 through 6, You now hold the reins of your life in your own hands. You will have the feeling of being in the driver's seat or at the wheel. Like me, you have been a disciple of the voice within, following your own guidance on how to build the structure that is your city of light. The great discipline that this has required brings you the expertise that enables you to be at ease. You may rest upon this success. The wheels turn now by themselves. You have set in motion the forces that will forever be your foundation. So their advice definitely telling you that you are in the driver's seat, and you make the choices with your thought patterns and with your daily habits and what you do in your life and where you go and who you talk to. Yet again, talking about the venom in the vessel, so that the vessel representing like your space and who you allow in it. Any dark energies, get that shit out of there. I think it's funny that it said, build the structure that is your city of light. That's totally talking about that like light bubble that you need to be creating. First you start with you and then your house and then so on and so forth, but eventually to get to your city. So I find that to be so fascinating that they brought that up again. It's definitely a huge part of your life that you should be creating these energetic bounds and visualizing them. Many battles have been won. It is time for you now to appreciate how far you've come. Feel the security you have created within. Fly with this confidence. You are soaring now, but know that the path will continue to unfold before you. Be ready to take up your shield of power and guard against self-doubt when the next challenge arises. Take full time in this moment to feel the achievement that is presently yours. It will be your foundation. Know it well. Yes, definitely. It's telling you not to let self-doubt get in your way. That's definitely one of the venoms that has been let into your mind space previously. How many powers have you given over to others? Can you grow your own food? Can you teach your own children? Can you make your own clothes? Can you walk 5 miles? Can you feel comfortable alone? Can you go a day without a cigarette, a cup of coffee, food, your car, clothes, makeup, money? Wow, I find that interesting. Asking you what you can and can't live without, asking you what absolutely has to be in your space and what doesn't. In each person's life, there come to be certain foods that symbolize success. It may be champagne and caviar, a steak dinner, a complete meal from your own garden, or for some, the ability to eat no meal at all. Whatever would bring you the feeling of success, indulge in it now. Throw off any associated guilt temporarily and allow the fantasy to take you in, at least for a day completely. Notice any changes in the way you perceive yourself and others as you indulge in this success. So eat good. Eat at least one good meal. Really treat yourself. It might set you into that frequency of success and abundance. I love that. There are many experiences ahead. You can enjoy them if you don't fight to stay here at this particular peak. A warrior seldom becomes great by fighting one battle. Your skills must be constantly honed. Your retreat is just as important as your advance. Take time to regroup, to become re-inspired. Celebrate the victory. Make it yours. Take it inside yourself and then relax. Tomorrow will start a new period. Yeah, it's telling you to be really pleased with every little thing that you do. Really pat yourself on the back. That will set you in a higher vibrational state and get you set up for feeling that abundance coming. When you're just feeling good about every little thing, then you're setting yourself into that state. And not every little thing, but you know what I mean, take out the trash, yay me, I took out the trash, just try to really bring that energy in. That's what your ancestors are telling you, and then telling you that the retreat is just as important as the go, go, go. So it's all about balance, baby. Okay, moving over to the exemplar of the pipes. The sage is a self well expressed. There's a little pan flute here. There's a deer. She's holding a little pipe. Let me show you a little closer. There you go. Prayer. The time ends for my active work in this area, yet I shall live a long time to tell of all I know. Those who come to me for advice, I will inspire with my vision's fulfillment. I have lived a brave life and passed the test of time. I have brought forth all of the beauty within me on the path of my purpose. My art now guides the world towards right relationship to all that is. I am free now to take up a new path. But while I'm here, I will lead with love and kindness. I will pass on what I know. Ancient ancestors guide me. Oh my God, they're really talking to you, straight to you. Ancient ancestors, guide me on to the golden road so that I do not get lost in past glory. Keep me aware of new days to come. Make me a child again. Wow, I'm getting a sense that like you're supposed to be creating like a new earth, a place that's beautiful and abundant and everyone's well taken care of, and you're supposed to hold that vision. It's a vision that I hold, and it is quite a hard vision to hold sometimes on this sick earth. But it is still important that you hold that vision, that you know that is what you want, that you want the world to be taken care of. You want there to be many plants, and you want there to be all of the things that people need to survive, and not just a couple of people taking all of the resources. Hold that vision. Keep it in your white light bubble. Make it an important part of your life, and try not to lose that vision, because they want you to help people walk into that life. And you are doing that. You've been doing that, and you probably will keep coming back here until we do get to walk into that life, until the venom is removed from the vessel that is this earth. You must come back and help and make sure that the frequency is rising, that people are evolving to be more conscious, and that we will become more conscious as a whole. And those couple people that take everything, they won't matter anymore, because we have overcome. We have lifted so much. We have made the communities and the gardens, and we don't need that much. We just need, and we take what we need. We don't overtake. And we've grown it. We've figured out how to do it. So I think that that's really important, that you hold that vision, and that you help people to do that. It also said that, you know, maybe you've made art, maybe you've made music, maybe you've done something, and it's time for that part of your life to be done. But you don't stop telling people how to do it. You don't stop sharing your knowledge. You know that your art is still out there for people to see, and then you've moved on to something else. Like maybe something in your life isn't doing it for you anymore, or you just feel that you've maybe reached a peak with it, and maybe it's time to move on to something else. But their advice to you was to always help others with that information, with that knowledge, and to not feel bad about leaving behind something that has been a huge part of your life. There's nothing wrong with that. You will find many amazing, great things, and you might even find that old thing was really important on your new journey, and gave you a basis of knowledge that you really needed. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to say for the exemplar of pipes. And finally, for your self-care card, your advice from your ancestors about what you can do right now is abundance planning. I already touched on that. Write down what you need to achieve your dreams. Write down a timeline of what needs to happen. You can be even more vague about it. But let's say you want to get into painting. Well, you need brushes and you need palettes and you need canvases and you know what I mean? And maybe you already have some of these things. You don't need to put them on the list. And maybe you know friends that have lots of art supplies and they'd be willing to let go of some. Or maybe you're just going to buy new ones, so you need to figure out how much money you need. Maybe you're on a tight budget. There's also abundance planning in form of vacations, in form of what type of events you want to have with your community. Do you want to have a community garden? Do you want to have talks with the community about different people's religions and different people's outlooks on life and different people's cultures, like community outreach programs and festivities about culture and whatever it is that you want to be a part of? Write that down. Write down what you want this earth to look like, because when you write it down, you are helping add to that collective consciousness that raises the frequency and the vibration. You are putting it in there for other people to access. And it makes it, the more people that put in this thought bubble, and then more people feel it. It's subconscious, but you will see that all the pieces will fall into place for what you need. And I think that that is everything that I have for you today, pile number 2. This was a very exciting reading. It is no wonder that I wore this shirt that said, "Protect our ocean, protect our future." You are supposed to be making this protective bubble. You are supposed to be helping weed out. I'm definitely getting some gardening and this alchemy vibe from you, but you're supposed to be weeding out what is not supposed to be there. Like this vessel card said, burn it, break it, build it, whatever needs to be done. But you are there to help for that, and then you have in many lifetimes. I think it was really fun that we got to hear about your lifetime in ancient Greece. I've always felt called to ancient Greece. I've always felt like I was from there. My name is Maya, so it's a Greek goddess, and I definitely feel like this reading is also for me. It is not common that I feel a reading I do on YouTube is so connected to me. I really do feel that this can also apply to me. The thing is, there are many, many, many lives, and we are all connected to certain lives and different lives, and some more connected to some than others. It's difficult to explain. It's like weaving and crossing and people hitting the same spots and cycling, but either way, I thought it was really fascinating to hear about that, and you being an oracle and an alchemist and trying to help the community. I really hope that this reading resonated for you. It was a really fun one, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. I'm going to leave all of the decks I use down below, as well as my tip information, my Amazon wishlist information, and soon I'll be having my website up and running to buy the perfumes that I make. I can't wait. I'm getting labels made soon, so I will keep you all updated on that. But yeah, I think that's everything I have for you today. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day, and I love you wherever you are. Bye. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose this little Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, I think this is a Dorbs. What's it say? Vinyl sugar. That's what it says on the bottom. But if you chose this little doll, then this is going to be your reading. And let me get the cards out. We're going to start with your past life, the vow, the Mother of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups, your weaving themes, the Queen, Four of Cups, Two of Swords reverse, main trauma, Daughter of Pentacles, Daughter of Swords, the Temple, and your advice, the Shadow, the Phoenix, and music. Actually, I believe that the Shadow is probably in your main trauma. So I'm going to move that over here. I forgot to relight the candle. No wonder I was feeling a bit off. And let me put these oils on. Blessing and peace. Okay, starting with the vow in your past life, I would say this definitely means that you were married, and with the Mother of Pentacles coming here with a daughter, so you were a mother with a daughter. It's funny the Daughter of Pentacles is coming in here. So you know, you were someone that took care of the home, who tended to the tasks of daily life, who was an amazing mother. You can see here in this, the Ten of Cups, things were very bright and happy, sharing with the family. You can see here, in this Ten of Cups card, there's a man and a woman and a daughter. There's also a little baby here as well. So, and you had a cat as well. Lots of food, lots of happiness. So you were very happy in this lifetime. Definitely something happened. I believe that this is talking about within this lifetime, because you have the Daughter of Pentacles here. So something happened to your daughter in your main trauma. Yeah, but you were married and living very happily, tending to your life as a mother. Let's read the vow. It says, when the vow is spoken, the air shifts, karmic ties are formed, and destiny tilts on its axis. Our words and intentions have immense power. There is a reason the great mythic stories of our past often include the recitation of oaths and the mixing of drops of blood as a mark of union. The tricky part is that reciting the vow, no matter how casually, activates the eternal and unseen forces of the world. The ancestors bear witness. Here they are talking to you now. The laws of nature respond. These promises cannot be unsaid or forgotten, so breaking them can leave lingering complexities and loose ends. This card calls us to acknowledge the vow we are living by, consciously or unconsciously, and either recommit to it or create a ritual that signifies its closure. You've been underestimating the power of your promises. Okay, so what this is signifying to me is that a promise had been made in this lifetime, and it definitely caused problems down the road, whether that was possibly a marriage. I would say so, with this Daughter of Pentacles and Daughter of Swords coming out here. I think it's possible, since you were well off in this time, I can imagine that, you know, I can imagine that maybe you had arranged marriages at this time, and maybe there was a promise that your daughters would be married, and this promise had been broken, or it wanted to be broken, or you wanted it to be broken, basically. And that caused a lot of problems down the road, I can imagine. It's possible this can also point to divorce in certain other of your lifetimes. Some of your other lifetimes, you made a promise of marriage, and then it left. You made a promise of marriage and then got divorced, and you were still very spiritually tied to this other person and never made that like spiritual disconnection, and it caused you severe problems. And with this queen card being here, I think that this leads into this life as well. She's in this card, she's dressed very nicely, and everyone looks quite clean and has a little bit fancier clothes on with nice like a bananas at that time were very hard to come by, and nice plates and everything. So I think that it's possible that you were a queen. But with this card, I think that something got thrown off, whether it's this marriage. I think this vow with your daughters. I think you told someone in a different town, yes, my daughters will marry your sons, and we'll be together. And then you find out about these sons, and they're no good, and you don't want to marry them off, and it causes a lot of problems. And then it affected the way that you led this area, whether you were a queen or not. Your husband at the time was a leader, and you sat by his side, and you expressed. People went to you to hear about what was happening within the power structures. And when all this turmoil happened, you really became, I think, a negativity. This when the card is like this, it's considered reverse when it's to the side. And you became not a very benevolent queen. You had been a really amazing queen, the really amazing mother, and taking care of everyone, and everything was basically perfect, and you were leading very well. And then this turmoil happened, and it caused you to be um, a shadow, basically. With this shadow card right below it, you became a shadow as well. The shadow was within the temple. The shadow was within you, and within your house, within your ruling area. And what you were a part of that. You were within the palace, or wherever this fancier place is. Okay, everybody, I am back. I actually took some time to look at this reading kind of as a whole, at least this part, not the advice. I haven't looked at that yet. But I was having some trouble trying to figure out exactly what happened here. And to be honest, after looking, I'm still having some trouble trying to figure out what happened here. I did find some additional linkages here. With the vow, we have these two hands. I don't know if you can see that. And in this one, his hand is on your hands. So I do believe that this vow that was talked about is talking about the vow that you had with your husband. But I do think that there's something additional with it being above your daughters here, that I think something did happen. I think, as I said before, that maybe a promise was made, and, um, your daughter, one of your daughters was supposed to be married to someone else, and then maybe a different offer came through. And then with these two swords here, this card, it typically means like a stalemate, but I almost am getting that there was possibly a war, and the temples here, so, and the shadow. So I feel like I feel that the place of worship was taken down in this war. I feel that it's also possible that either you and your husband, or you and the husband of one of your daughters, disagreed with your religion specifically. And I can't really figure out exactly who, was against this religion, but someone was against you. And with the temple pointing in at the Daughter of Swords, the Daughter of Swords, she has the capability to become, a perfectionist to the point of being judgmental. She's very wise and very, very, very intelligent. She never stops watching. People value her opinion. But she does have that capability, and with the temple pointing here at the Daughter of Swords, I feel like it's possible that some shadow could have come in through her. Maybe it came in through her marriage. Maybe it came in through her specifically with her perfectionism, and it kind of brought down the family dynamic, because you can see at this point, when she was a baby, everything was very, very good. And your first daughter, I know this could definitely be a man as well, but I'm definitely getting that this is a daughter, because of these two cards here, the Daughter of Pentacles and the Daughter of Swords. Your Daughter of Pentacles, she was wonderful. She was shy, she was hardworking, she helped you take care of everything. She loved nature, she was creative and sweet and kind. And this Daughter of Swords, I'm thinking that there was something else going on with her. She didn't quite have that same kindness in her heart. And the Queen is reverse. This is technically the reverse position. So something happened that uprooted your power, I believe, and it left you feeling like this. Like you could see in the first card, the Ten of Cups, you had everything. But I get kind of a sense that this is possibly your daughter, your second daughter, the Daughter of Swords, feeling very much like, oh, I don't have enough, and this isn't good enough. I know your first daughter, the Daughter of Pentacles, she would have been very happy to be in nature, and she's handed a bowl, and she would have been gracious to receive that. But I think your second daughter, and also you had some of these same qualities that you were kind of thinking about. Oh, what if I had this instead? And since this is a theme running throughout many of your lives, it's definitely something to focus on. It's a theme that runs throughout, where you're thinking what could have been in the past, or thinking about what you don't have, rather than thinking about how grateful for you are for your surroundings and nature, and the beautiful things in life like rainbows and stars, and really taking that all in, instead of thinking, oh, my kingdom was taken down. I have a feeling that this did happen during this lifetime. I do think that possibly war, with these two swords hitting here. This is typically stalemate, which I do think that applies in this reading to your feelings, your inner world. But I do think a war, you've lived through a war in many lives, actually, because this is a weaving theme. And that took down your house of worship and brought shadow in. I think that possibly your daughter saying this isn't good enough, it got you also in that headspace, bringing the shadow into the temple. It's just pointing right at her. It's definitely calling out to me. I wanted to say that while I was doing a little bit of extra research at night when doing this reading, I was like, where is this? Where are they located? Thinking, like, is it Germany? Like, I was getting Deutschland or Dutch, like that's what was coming through. But then I opened my phone, and in a travel group I'm in, somebody actually talked about Belgium, and I was like, oh wow, I think Dutch people are from Belgium. I could be mistaken. I could be mistaken on that one. But I do think that you were Dutch, and I'm getting close to the medieval times, to at least somewhere around that time period, like medieval times. Maybe before, maybe after, slightly, but definitely around that time. And something happened where I feel that you were dethroned. I'm kind of taking all of this together to get the full message out, and then I'll look at these themes separately. But I do believe that something happened, and your seat of power was gone. And this queen card, as I said before, also talks about letting, like, it's right above the shadow here. It's like letting that shadow in. So when you saw bad things happening around you, or you saw, maybe your daughter is being a perfectionist or something like that, it was affecting the way that you ran whatever, if this is a palace, or it could have been a church, whatever it is that you had. It could have even been a small town that you were like a leader of with your husband. But either way, you were in a position of power. And I feel like either quickly with war, or over time, it kind of broke down your feelings of confidence and feelings of power, with the shadow coming in, feeling like you didn't have what it takes. We also have the hand here with the snake, the vow had the hand, and then his hand is on you. Now there's a snake there. So I thought it is a possibility that, your husband became something that different than what you had married as well. I think that it's together. And that could have been a reason why your daughter acted the way she did, maybe because of the way that he was acting. Like, when everybody was this age, everybody was happy, but he changed, and the daughter grew up. He may have abused her, because this older daughter was considered great in both of your eyes and always helping. And I think the second child was thought of as, like, she wasn't going to inherit everything. She probably became quite spiteful about that. She probably felt like second favorite, and there probably wasn't anybody stopping her from feeling that way, to be honest. I think that your husband, maybe possibly if he was a king or something like that, but he definitely favorited the daughter of Pentacles. And it seems here, when you were just with her for a long time, because she seems quite older in this picture when she's taking care of the baby. It seemed like things were good in this portion, and then as she got older, it brought in some of these attitudes, like, of lack of, looking onto what you don't have, instead of looking at the land and the beautiful people around you that you do have to experience life with. And since these are weaving themes, the queen here, It means, I think I already touched on that, but it means letting your external world dictate your internal world. At least that's how I'm taking it right now. And instead of creating your inner space and letting that seep out into your outer space, I think that this has been a theme in your life where you let everything else around you, like in this case, your daughter and possibly your husband and maybe everything around. There was possibly war, and there was possibly people not agreeing with the religion. There was promises broke. There was a lot going on here. So you let all of that dictate how you treat others, and you let that dictate your family dynamic and just how everything was run. And that's definitely something that needs to be worked on, and learn how to like quiet the mind and meditate and create your own inner sanctum of peace and let that seep out. Like the lotus is here, it reminds me of peace. I think that's really important, that you create that inside yourself, and it's not something that you can seek without. I think in this card it's like you're seeking what's next, and not seeing the bounty and the amazing life that you could have right in front of you. Like sometimes it does take going over to the town next door, maybe you needed to flee or something, instead of, sitting around and really moping. I want to say it probably happened a lot, and a lot of just a negative attitude, I feel, happened in a lot of these lifetimes due to what you don't have, instead of moving into a frequency of, wow, look at what I'm being offered. Look, I have my beautiful daughters, and, maybe there is this turmoil happening, but at least I still have these people around me, or at least I still have my religion to guide me, or whatever it is. You look for those positives in life. Like, life has a lot of crazy stuff happening for most people, and I've seen people that let something really tiny ruin everything for them, and then I've seen other people that have some of the craziest hardships in life and take that with stride and move on and say, I can get through this, I can get through anything, I've been through hell and I'll get through this too. And that's just an attitude shift. It's a mind shift to see all the positive things around you and see what you can be grateful for. So moving into that gratefulness mindset. And with this stalemate here, I think it's, when I was doing the research, it's like you want so badly to rid the world of all negativity, of all the bad in the world. That's something that was coming through for me with this section here, with this theme. Instead of embracing it, it's accepting that you have negative emotions, accepting that you do feel this lack, like it happens, and moving through it and understanding why you feel that way. Instead, you would like fester in it throughout many of your lifetimes. Just kind of let the shadow envelop your temple, which can also be your body. I know I said I was getting a church sense, but it's both. There's definitely a link here between the outside and the inside happening for you, and it happens for everyone, truly. Like, as within, so without, as above, so below. I'm sure you've heard that before. So yeah, you've tried to, you want all the negativity gone, so you can't seem to see things as good ever because they still have a little bad in them, right? And it just comes down to acceptance. It just comes down to accepting that bad things happen in your eyes, in your perspective. Those things are bad, maybe death, maybe breaking of promises, etc., etc. What is considered bad? First of all, it's just perception. When you look at things from a higher perspective, when you look at things from a higher perspective, maybe they were supposed to happen that way. Maybe that created the shift for something better to happen. There's a lot of ups and downs in life. I think that this is one of the reasons that you have many past lives. I think this is one of the reasons, you're in this karmic cycle, you're in this cycle of living through many lives, is I think that you've come here for acceptance of all that is life. Instead of saying, oh, those people burned my church, they're evil, instead saying, they are they are human too. They were only given orders, and we're all just doing what we know, and we're all just doing what we think is best, and etc., etc. Like, just kind of getting into an acceptance mindset. It's hard, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, there's absolutely awful things, and it's like hard to be like, how can I accept that? How can I accept that as something that would ever be okay? And like, you can say they're not okay and still say this is in the world, and it's just something that I'm going to have to accept. It's just something I'm going to have to accept, that it is in the world. And like, yes, you can work towards eliminating it. Yes, you can make it a better place, but also remember to choose to see those positive things that also do exist in life. Don't choose to only look at like, oh my God, look at all this war and famine and this and that, and instead say, oh, look at my beautiful family, and we all have each other, and look at this, the bountiful land, and like I said, the rainbows and the star. Like, pay attention to nature too. Pay attention to the good things that are all around you, just waiting for you to see them. Because it's not denial. Like, accept that those things, those terrible things that happen in life do exist. They exist. That's just what it is. Like I said, you can, yes, work to better them, but you can't put all that weight on yourself. It's a community effort. Yes, you can tell people about the causes that you believe in, but it's not all on you. So find your personal power through gratefulness, and move through those emotions in an intuitive way. Say, why am I feeling this? What can I do to better the community in this way? What can I do next? How can I help? Etc., etc. Instead of thinking, this is terrible and it'll never change, and all these people are evil and they came for me, and my family is falling apart, and blah, 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 over and over. Instead, think of all the things to be grateful for. Also, you can think about those things, but work through those emotions rather than just saying, it's terrible, and that's it. And that's all that you get from it. That's not getting much. You need to learn through these negative experiences. That is what is coming through for me from this reading. I had to do a little bit of, stewing on it, researching on my own. But I think that that's everything that I wanted to get out. I think that this, stalemate is happening inside yourself, like not doing the further shadow work. This shadow is coming through saying, instead, like, oh, I don't want to deal with that right now, or oh, I don't want to think about that, or think, oh, that's bad forever and there's nothing I can do, and that sort of energy. Instead say, why am I feeling this? What can I do? And move into that energy and move into that gratefulness energy. It will definitely change your frequency. So I do believe that that is what this lifetime was trying to tell you, that, it goes back to being the queen and getting super caught up in what happened, and made you not a very benevolent leader. It made you not somebody that people want to come to for help, and then in turn made the kingdom, or whatever this area that you were a leader of, not the best place. So it actually made everything worse by thinking in this attitude, instead of trying to shift into a gratefulness mindset. Yeah, that's what happened in this lifetime, and I think that that's why they brought it up. And now we're going to move on to your advice, starting with the Phoenix. This is also from one of my new decks, the Wild Wisdom Companion by Maya Toll. Yeah, it says late autumn. But the Phoenix, the Phoenix is known for rising up out of the ashes, right? Like taking all of the destruction, let's say your whole town was in a state of destruction, and taking that and saying, I'm going to rebuild. I'm going to get all the communities together and we're going to do what we can. That sort of mentality, I think that that's what they're going to probably say to you. The Phoenix. Step into the cycle. The myth of the Phoenix comes to us from the ancient Greeks, but some suspect it's older than that, originating in Egyptian mythology, of a bird deity also associated with the worship of the sun. Its image appears on funerary scarabs as a symbol of death and rebirth. A long-lived bird, the phoenix was said to choose the moment of its own death, building a final nest and then setting it on fire. From the ashes of the old phoenix, a new phoenix would rise, and it too would live hundreds of years before starting the cycle again. The phoenix cycle can be seen in the natural world. Dead trees decompose, giving life to mushrooms, which themselves die and decompose, giving minerals back to the soil so tree saplings can grow strong. The phoenix archetype honors the entirety of this sequence from birth through death and then rebirth, reminding us that we too sometimes need to go to ashes in order to reclaim our energy and begin again. Letting go of the old lets us recreate ourselves and start new. In late autumn, the energy of the outer world supports this metaphorical death. But that is not the only time for transformation. Like the phoenix, we humans get to choose when we start the recreation process. Perhaps it's time to renew your awareness of the cycles of life and death, not as something to fear, but as something to celebrate. The opportunity to begin again. Your challenges are knowing when you have come to an end of the cycle and fear of what is next. So they're telling you to accept, like I said, these cycles of, things burn, and families break apart, and yes, people die, and you're going to die someday too, and yes, things light on fire, and bad things happen, like perception, some of these bad things happen, but sometimes these bad things happen so a new you can rise up out of the ashes. So I think that they really want you to get into that mindset of thinking, what can be made of this situation? What can I be grateful for in this situation? Is it time to end this cycle in my life, of this aspect of my life, whether that's a relationship, a job, anything in your life? The cycle could be ending. So figure out what doesn't serve you anymore, and figure out what you do have to be grateful for, and walk towards those things. And things that are hurting your spirit, move away. Get it out of your life. And if you have to freaking burn it down to the ground and rebuild the foundation at its whole, then do that too. But I think that you'll know what to do if you dive deep within and you really follow that gratefulness. You follow what makes you feel grateful. And sometimes you'll find that it's truly the simple things. It's time with friends, it's time with family, it's eating good food, it's your bed or your home or things like that. You will find that those are the things that you are most grateful for, is the simple pleasures, nature, and the wonders of this world. And that will really help you move into that mindset and that frequency of like a more uplifting attitude. And finally, we have music This is your self-care card and some advice. My heart sings the song of truth. Choose music that resonates with you and holds positive vibration. Allow the rhythms, melodies, and lyrics to shift you towards your desired mood with ease and grace. Let the music move you, inspire you, and be a way for you to do the same for others. Share a motivating, uplifting song that you like with your friends, or play music that invigorates you and your team while you work. Whether you've always wanted to get up on stage for karaoke, start a band, or finally write down those lyrics floating through your head, there's a song inside of you that's waiting to come out. There can be many expectations built up around expressing yourself through music, but don't let them hold you back from having fun or sharing your unique voice and message. Attend a concert or a festival, make a playlist just with the right vibe. Take up an instrument or join a singing circle. Just look for more ways to bring music into your life. Open your mind and your ears, and the music will move you in just the right direction. So, yeah, they're telling you to truly connect with music, whether that's learning an instrument or just writing some lyrics out, whatever way you feel best. But it definitely also said to put on music that will make you in a positive mood. So if you notice like certain songs are really getting you down, even when you were already in a good mood, and then you hear the song and you're like, oh, that reminds me of so and so in this situation. Like maybe delete it off your playlist or move it to a playlist that you don't listen to as often. I think it was interesting that it said, yeah, to put on music that really uplifts you, because it did mention that your outside world, your external your external forces, they affect you so much, you know? So if you can choose what external forces are around you, whether that's sound, sense, you know, every feeling, like soft things around you, colorful things around you, things that smell good around you, things that taste good, etc., etc. If you can create that for yourself, then it will affect your inside world, and then that will affect your outside world again. So it will be like a cycle going back and forth, building and building up to something really positive and really uplifting. And you can start right now with music. Like, put on a playlist that makes you happy, super happy. And if you don't have a playlist that makes you super happy, make one. Make a playlist. Get on Spotify or whatever if you have that, and make a playlist. I think you can even do it on YouTube for free. You can just type in songs you like and add them to a playlist. So, yeah, get that music going, get more connected with music, learn these cycles of rebirth, get into a little bit more of an acceptance and a gratefulness mindset. I think that's everything that I have for you today from your ancestors and through this life that happened. It was a little interesting. I was having trouble. I think that you've lived many lives that are quite similar to this. So they were all kind of like, I felt like some blending was happening where you've been in a position of power. Like, you know, we have this queen here. You've definitely been in a position of power many times. And I think that you've had daughters many times as well. And their dynamic has been quite similar throughout many of your lives. So, yeah, I found that to be fascinating. It was getting a little bit jumbled inside my head. But I think that that's everything. And I'm going to leave all the decks that I use down below, as well as my tip information. I would be ever so grateful if you did contribute. It is not necessary, but it's definitely appreciated. And I'm also going to leave my Amazon wish list. If you'd rather support me in that way, that is also appreciated. I have a lot of tarot decks on there, so I can expand the cards that I have on the table here. After the reading today, I think I'm going to add a mic to that list, because I can tell that my Sound quality is definitely not the best through my phone. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense, but it is a lot more difficult to layer the sound in the video. Either way, that's everything I had for you, and I definitely hope it resonated for you. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day wherever you are. I absolutely love you, pile number 3. Bye. Hello, pile number 4. If you chose this little flower brooch, then this is going to be your reading. And it's going to be your past life, some weaving themes throughout many of your past lives, a main trauma that happened, and advice from your ancestors. Okay, and let's light the candle. Okay, let's get these cards out. Your past life, the 5 of Cups, the 2 of Wands reverse, the 3 of Cups reverse, weaving themes, the pink rose of Lady Nada reverse, the thread, 7th chakra Archangel Uriel, I always forget, main trauma, fire guardian, the crone reverse, the advice, the king, 4 of stones, family. Okay. What I'm seeing here straight off the bat with your past life, you definitely, let's just put it this way, you were focusing your energies on things that were let's just say you were like crying over spilled milk when you had milk sitting up here, you know? That sort of thing. This card depicts that. It's basically like she's crying over these wine glasses that have spilled out, but there's wine right up here with 2 more glasses and like a whole party, and she's choosing to focus on what has been spilled, what has been lost, rather than what she has and what she already has achieved, basically. Which is interesting. It's definitely reminding me of the last reading I just did, so if you were feeling called to that one as well, maybe they are linked in some way. And it's very similar with the 2 of Wands here. In your past life, dreaming about traveling the world, dreaming about doing all of these extravagant things, and instead just kind of sitting there waiting for something spectacular to happen to you. And then not only that, you also lost your closest friends. I think that you were a woman, because there's 3 women coming out here, and you definitely had close friends and you lost them. I don't know exactly how. This is definitely the Vegas past life I can see. Oh, Darcy just knocked my... Okay, you can all still see. This is definitely the most vague out of the 4 readings today for the past life, I would say. Let me focus on these first couple cards and open up the books and see if there's anything specific about your past life that I might be able to get just from reading the actual words. Sometimes the Six of Cups is a reminder to hang on to the good memories and not to get too jaded or negative about the way you view the world. If there isn't enough kindness in your life, maybe you just need to create some for yourself. So, yeah, in this last life, I think you kind of isolated yourself a bit and you only had a few close friends and you ended up losing them. And I see that you were very lonely and sad often in this lifetime that we're taking a glimpse into. And you were very much a dreamer, but couldn't seem to make those dreams a reality, I feel like. And I feel like it had a lot to do with your focus being on what you had lost and feeling as though it was not possible for you to have a good life or to, go see an island or something like that. Yes, you were very insecure. You always felt stuck, feeling worried about your abilities. Darcy. But I think that you need to take this past life, I'm already getting something, and just see it as something you can grow from. See it as something you don't want to repeat. And there's a reason you live that life so that you know not to do that again. And you can make hearing this information an opportunity to level up, do travel the world if you want to, do focus on the things that light you up and on what you do have. And, obviously this world is tough and poverty exists, not everything comes easily, and it's sometimes very hard to focus on the good. I do understand that, but always just try your best. And it doesn't mean that you have to be all good all the time, sometimes you can feel those feelings of anger, disgust, or feeling unsafe, and there's nothing wrong with feeling those feelings. But when you do feel in a safe place, it's important to look around at what you have and feel that gratefulness attitude and really believe that you can make the most of your life. And I think that's what's going to come out strong here. And also just connect with people as well, since you lost these close people to you. The world is filled with opportunities for adventure, and I welcome them into my life with planned action. I have a feeling that planned action part was pretty tough for you in this lifetime. There's a lot of cycling and circling in your head on the same thing that happened over and over. I can't really get a glimpse at when exactly this time frame was, or even what your job was, or if just I definitely feel this lifetime is a woman, but I'm not really picking up on much when it comes to time frame or anything further than that. I'm getting a lot about the way that you felt in this lifetime, and because I feel these feelings were extremely strong, this loneliness. What I was saying though is that, yeah, these feelings were very strong. I feel they outweigh the importance of anything else in this lifetime, because these feelings are so strong of loneliness and of just not being able to see the good in life, basically, and not believing that you can travel. I definitely feel travel is really important with this beach scene here and this globe here, and even looking out at the stars, just this sense of adding this sense of wonder into your life. And I feel you didn't get to experience it, and it's probably something that you're supposed to experience in this lifetime, is to really stop and take a look at the stars and get to go to a tropical island and get to take that road trip and learn that awesome thing that you want to learn. So I think that this lifetime has a lot to teach you in that sense, and not really much about the finer details, but more about the feelings of it. A need to see the value that you bring to a relationship. Definitely, I feel like in this lifetime, you just kind of thought that you were like worthless, which is so sad. You thought that you like weren't good at anything and you couldn't do anything right and you were never going to be able to achieve anything. Yeah, actually, I'm getting a feeling that you may have lost your sisters, or at least you considered them sisters. I don't exactly know how. Um, they might have passed away, or were taken away, or something very tragic happened in this lifetime with women you were close to. I think your sisters, but it's just that you would call them that. You know, I don't know if they were your sisters by blood, but something ripped you apart, and it was like impossible for you to get over this, basically. And I hope that we can learn how you can make amends and move through that pain and that trauma that you're probably still holding on to in your soul, to like release that in this lifetime, because it seems like it's definitely, it weighs on your spirit this particular lifetime, that it wanted to come through and tell you it's probably time to let go of those feelings that you have of not being good enough. And looking at the weaving themes, the pink rose of Lady Nada, I think that's how you say that. You are in the midst of a heart healing, a healing of the fears and anxieties that have held you back from enjoying your full magnificence. Lady Nada is here with all of her gentle power, washing you in soft pink light. All anger, fear, sadness, bitterness, disappointment, and hurt are soothed and loved into peace. She brings you a sign of your future blossoming into a deeper love. So it seems like throughout many of these lifetimes, you are in a heart healing stage in your, many reincarnations. So, your heart was broken in this lifetime. I'm sure it's been broken many, many times. And you are in the midst of a healing from the divine. I mean, I'm already seeing this card here. The seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel, is about your connection with your third eye and your crown chakra, and being able to access the Akashic records, which is like what I'm doing right now, finding out about people's past lives and all of the information that exists through those past lives. And it's funny, these two, like, it's like angels, but I see that both of these cards are reversed, and I think that means that throughout these lifetimes that you've had some trouble, like, actually connecting and accepting this love, accepting this healing. I feel like the divine has reached out to you many, many times and said, like, we're here to help you. We can heal you. However you put it, the divine, the universe, just like all the signs, all the thread, as it says, like the weaving, the interconnectedness of everything has like kind of reached out to you and said, like, I'm here. And I feel like even that you've turned away from. A lot of people, when they go through very intense grief, that's when they'll have their spiritual breakthrough. or when they feel very lost, or depending, it could be addiction, deep in addiction, and that's when they turn to the divine, or to, reach out and say, what can I do? I need help. And I feel like even then you felt like you needed to be alone, even through this like intense grief that you experience. You still felt like you had to do it all by yourself, the healing, the heart healing. And like this card is saying, like, no, you don't. You have angels on your side. You have the community, like a family, if you will, on your side. Divine and here, both ready and willing and open to healing you. And all you have to do is just accept that and say, I do need help. I do need heart healing. I do need healing of this grief. Like maybe it's subconscious. Maybe you don't even know. Or maybe you've experienced this same grief in this lifetime. But because a lot of times the lifetimes will mirror and reflect each other and be very similar, depending on if you've learned what you needed to learn, I think, from that lifetime. And I think that you need to turn for help. I think that's what you need to learn. It's funny, we have this rainbow here, this rainbow here. We have them looking at the stars. Like that's definitely, to me, like looking to the divine. The stars here, these cards are like matching. I don't know, these cards are very connected to me, like interwoven like the thread. Come back to that love, to the pink rose unfolding in your heart. Whenever you feel lost, some challenges are meant to help you grow in your ability to love without condition, to surrender to the divine, even when things don't seem to make sense. You undergo such challenges because you are capable, powerful, and wise. The universe loves you so much. It is guiding you to your most beautiful destiny every day. Release guilt and fear. Know that you are loved, always have been, and always will be. Yes, I think it's time for you to release the guilt. Maybe from this lifetime, maybe from this lifetime, maybe from all of your lifetimes right now, say, I release guilt, I release fear. Say it out loud. And if you don't believe it, just keep saying it. And maybe you will start believing it, but it's good to have some affirmations that you can say when you have a moment. You can also say as an affirmation, I am worthy of love. I think that's a really good one to say. So I accidentally talked about these cards and I wasn't recording, so I'm going to reread those. I'm sorry if I repeat myself on anything because I'm not sure when it cut off. It says, life is a tangle. So much happens simultaneously, leaving us grappling for meaning and direction in a network of distractions. When we connect to the energy of the thread, however, we strike the deepest vein in our body. Our whole being responds to its tug. Meaning is pumped through our bloodstream. Our mind and spirits are lifted. We remember who we are and what we came into this world to do. Though this happens on the most profound level, it could be the simplest incident that activates the thread. A song, an image, a conversation heard in passing. No matter how confusing and multi-layered our modern lives become, if we are connected to the thread, we are free. Being tethered to it is the only anchor our heart requires. Yes, so it's saying like that interconnectedness, and it's funny, there's like this rainbow here, and it said like connecting the thread, and it's kind of pointing at this card, which is like the divine and just your third eye and accessing the Akashic records and your crown chakra. So like that connection to everything. Like it said, even in passing, you know, those people, they are part of everything. Every single thing is part of everything, and it's all connected. And with these all being reversed and this card being slightly tilted, in many of your lifetimes you have struggled so much to turn for help to this power of the interconnectivity, instead, you know, thinking you have to do it all by yourself, or thinking you shouldn't be healed, you know, you don't deserve it or something like that, or just not even knowing, not being told about this connection that you can access, that you can listen to all of the synchronicities, that you can call out to the universe, to the divine, to whatever. You can do it in your head, you can write it out, you can actually say it out loud. Whatever you want, you can say, please heal me, please take fear from my heart, please take guilt from my heart, please take this pain, this grieving, please help me figure out my purpose. Whatever it is you want in life, call out, pay attention for the signs. But I think this has been a huge difficulty for you. You know, it might have been something that you've gotten through already in this lifetime. Or it could be something you really have no idea what I'm talking about, and you're like, the divine? What do you, like, no, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in any of that. And, you know, you still turn away. And that's just another word for it that some people use, God, the divine, the universe. For me, that is just the interconnectivity, that everything is one at a sacred level, at a spiritual level. Everything is one, and there's lessons you can learn in everything. There's lessons you can learn in your past lives. There's lessons you can learn from your spirit guides, your ancestors, your higher self, your future self, your past self. It doesn't, from other people, from everything, from rocks and stones and trees and bugs, everything has something to teach you. I think if you don't already, it's definitely time in this lifetime to reach out. I think you grieved really heavily in this particular lifetime, and still didn't really reach out. Like in this card, it has them looking at the divine, to me, like the stars, the interconnectivity, but it's reversed. You know, you still didn't connect. You still, instead of, you know, seeing these wine glasses and the wine that you still have, and not being happy about being at the ocean and seeing the interconnectivity of the beautiful trees and all the nature around you. You're just like, oh, the wine spilled, you know, this bad time happened and now it's all bad. That's particularly what was happening in this lifetime. And I think like I said, if you don't already, I think it's time to reach out and ask for help, ask for signs and signals, you know? Now let's move on to your main trauma. Ignite your passions and the crone reversed. First, look at the fire guardian. It's possible a fire could have actually happened. That could be a trauma that did happen, but we shall see. Maybe not. You are being guided by your angels to connect with the powerful energy of the desire. With the powerful energy of desire at this time. If you have recently set an intention to explore your sexual side or become sexually open, the fire of desire can burn away any old setbacks that are preventing you from expressing that part of your nature. If you are in a relationship, this card can indicate a great spiritual or sexual connection. So to me, that specifically means that your main trauma, I think that I might have to put a trigger warning, so I'm going to go ahead and say that now. Trigger warning, some content that you might not want to hear coming up for the next couple seconds here. This to me tells me that your main trauma, at least I believe in this lifetime, or it could be something you've experienced many times, is a sexual trauma, which, you know, we're getting this red here. It is rooted in the root chakra. So your foundation, you know, has been shattered. It is no wonder that you feel lost and lonely and sad, and it's hard to see the good in life because you've dealt with such intense traumas at the base level. It's hard to build on top of that. And it could even be something you've dealt with in this lifetime, but I would definitely say that this is a sexual trauma that happened. And I hate to even say that. It's hard for me to even talk about that sort of thing. Okay, and let's figure out what this crone card reverse means. The crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. I just want to say something. There's this witch hat in this, and I know this deck has witches over and over, but I was getting one thing when I said that this was a bit of a vague reading. I do feel like it's possible that you were a witch. I'm not sure if this was, you know, in the United States or in Europe or even somewhere else, but I do feel like in at least one of your lifetimes you were a witch. It is the very first card has a witch's hat, and the crone coming out here as well. I think that kind of doubles down and makes me think that it definitely did happen. You were a witch in one lifetime or another, maybe even this lifetime. The crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She is the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of Maiden Mother Crone. In her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. She laughs at notions of good or bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth churning, smoldering, taking life and giving life. The crone energy accepts everything in devouring beauty and suffering with the same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us, though it is feared by most for its power of unconventional relationship with death and the macabre. Awakening, the crone is dangerously rich and unapologetically magic. It's interesting that it also said sex in this one, death, sex, failure, rebirth. But I think, you know, what this is saying, it's saying that when you look at from everything from like a much, much higher perspective, when you look at the fact that like at one point dinosaurs existed and they all died, you know, or the stars are just burning and we're flying through space, like you kind of remove yourself from this situation, then you don't really see like someone dying or something, you know, like a plant dying or an animal dying, or just, you know, the bad, the so-called, as it said, good or bad, the good or bad things in life, instead of putting a label on it, it just is. It's just how things go. It's just what happens. Like, dinosaurs all dying led to us having oil now. Like, it's very strange to put things like that we call bad, like death, we're like, that's bad. When you look at it from a higher perspective, you don't feel as much like that. And I think that your main trauma is that when you dealt with this sexual trauma, which is arguably one of the worst things someone can possibly ever deal with, um, yeah, I believe it's one of the worst things that somebody could deal with. This ability to see from an outside perspective was ripped away from you. You are like, no, it's all bad. I'm stuck in this terrible earth, and somebody did this horrible thing to me, and how can I ever see the world as a good place again? How can I ever trust anybody ever again? And no, it's all bad. You know, I'm labeling it all because I experienced this, and there's no way I can go back from that. I've been completely changed. And I I think by trying as much as you can to, you know, reach out for help and try to connect, and when you have that connection at night or whenever you want to do it, it puts some like meaning into your life. It brings you back to that higher perspective. It brings you out a little bit of saying, like, me and what has happened to me, and you say the whole and the collective, and you get your personal power back, saying, I want to do better for the collective. And like, me sitting inside thinking that the whole world is a bad place isn't helping anyone. It's definitely not helping me, you know. And it's hard to just say that, like, oh, this isn't helping me, I'm going to stop doing it. But no, you can start with affirmations. Like I said, I don't know if this part got cut out, but even if you don't believe them, say, I release guilt. Say, I am worthy of love. Say, I want to heal myself. I want help healing. Um, I am powerful. I am strong. I'm healing my root chakra. I'm building a new foundation of my life. Whatever applies to your life, and say that. And, you know, start with that. If you already, you know, there's also the possibility that you already have gone through this in this lifetime, this turning, and this is something that you like greatly understand, and you're like, I've already done that. I've already gone through this grief and had to turn, and I remember how lost I was, and that's what this lifetime was, is how lost you were without that connection. Okay, next up is the king. And the king says, if our lives are imagined as a kingdom containing the entire spectrum of the human experience, the king presides over it all. Through the lens of the king, we assess the state of our land, make decisions, and rule accordingly. Therefore, the king must be thoroughly and regularly vetted, so as to avoid corruption. Recognize the dual nature of the king. He is either seated in benevolence and strength, guiding you towards peace, or he is oppressing the weak out of a need to control. There is not much middle ground. Some think of the king as the ultimate expression of the ego, yet the great kings of mythology and history serve from an egoless place. They take their throne with grace and humility, knowing the divine uses them as a channel to heal deep and long-standing discrepancies in the kingdom. So this speaks on, yet again, knowing the divine uses them as a channel. So it's I don't necessarily think it's like a kingdom. Like, your kingdom in this case is like all of the people you interact with. And it's speaking on coming from an an a place that's not of ego. And to me, the ego is like the mind that continuously talks, continuously makes up reasons why you can't be happy, and these past things that have happened to you, and these future worries, and all of the reasons, and just continuously talks and judges and labels. And Darcy, please stop. And this card speaks on that. This, I think that we're moving into the advice from your ancestors. This card speaks on that. It speaks on a place of no ego. So I think that really touches on this card here, getting into those higher chakras, the crown chakra, the third eye chakra. What you can do is like, you can start like this type of meditation. I've said this before, and I'm definitely going to say this again because it's definitely helped me, where it will only take a couple minutes, but you start with just simple meditation, just like kind of viewing your own thoughts, and whatever comes up, you say, oh, that's a thought, oh, I labeled something, and then you say, oh, who's the one who's like noticing this? Who's the one who's saying from a conscious perspective, saying, oh, look at my brain just going. Like, can I have this person speak through me? Or can I have moments of silence or less running thoughts? And that will be something you can access on a regular basis. And I thought it was also quite interesting that, look, there's like this orb in the hand, red orb in the Fire Guardian. And then here, the crone, which is all about wisdom, and so is the crow, is all about wisdom, holding this kind of red coin, copper coin. And then here, I think this is a wax seal, but they're all like depicted as red circles. And I think this crone here, holding like the wisdom, the coin of wisdom, and then it's like handing it out to all the people you meet. And I think that that's what your ancestors are trying to say with this card as well, is connecting and then handing that sunshine out, spreading that joy, spreading that love, healing yourself, and then just by healing yourself, it will heal others. Just by seeing how you did it, just by turning and saying, look, I did this. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I've turned to the divine. I've been through extreme grief and had to turn and say, and not just that, see the horrible things that are happening in this world. And I said, can I make this world a better place? Like, how can I help? And I was called to do this because I figured the more people I talk to about this, then the more they'll be connected, and then they'll feel the way I do, which is at peace most of the time and happy and able to move through emotions in a healthy way and speak on trauma in a more healthy way of looking at like, that's something I experience, and how can I move through this? What modalities are there out there that can help me? With this Four of Stones here, your ancestors are telling you that if you don't already, you have to fully dive into an art form that is using your hands. In this one, they have pottery, jewelry making, making belts, basket weaving, making bags, even cooking or making any sort of accessories, even painting, or really any art form that uses your hands. But fine-tune that skill and spread that with the world. New ventures are risky. Make a list of 3 objects you cannot live without. Make sure you have them. If you cannot acquire these objects free and clear within 1 week's time, your list may be too technologically complex. Simplify. This is basic survival: food, clothing, shelter. Maybe housing at mom's, or a leaf hut in the woods, or finding the house that is within your means. It might be a supply of grains, or just learning to cook for yourself. It may mean a good warm jacket or postponing a fashion splurge. People are at different levels in maintaining a sense of physical security and comfort. Assess where you are, arrange everything so that you can, within 1 week's budget and time limitations, set up a simple life you could fall back on if you lost everything. Yeah. So I think it's telling you to kind of have a bug out bag. Don't be scared by that. It's just a good thing to have as well. And make sure that you have all your ducks in a row with your basic survival. Do you have everything you need? And then moving on from that, do you have a couple of the basic things you need to start this new skill? Or do you have everything you need for this skill that you already maintain? Whatever level you are at. If you need to start with the basics of just basic survival and then jump off from there, that would be a way of healing your root. You would be surprised at what you can manifest if it's not something you typically do. Okay, and finally, we have family. I share unconditional love and receive it in return. I definitely think love is something your heart needs to be healed. Your root and third eye is coming up. The whole rainbow is here, so I think that your chakras definitely need some healing. If you're interested in Reiki, that might be something that you also want to do. But you can also find things on YouTube, just like healing chakra meditations and things like that. But I think everything needs to get into a line and flowing again. Now, I have to say, this all could be coming up from a perspective of something you have dealt with. This might be something you've already gone through in this lifetime, so keep that in mind. Peaceful relations with your family, whether biological, adoptive, or chosen, are incredibly important. Families can offer a sense of unconditional love and be there for you in times of need. You are being called to tune into the energy of unconditional love. Yeah, I definitely think, finishing off with these women here. Yeah, I think that they're like visiting you like your sisters from this lifetime. I feel like they're here with you. This previous lifetime they were ripped away from you, and yeah, they were family to you, that's for sure. They definitely unconditionally loved you, and you were broken when they were gone. It says, many of us store unresolved family traumas. As time passes, we evolve our perspective. We can find forgiveness in our hearts. We eventually realize that our families have always done the best they could with the resources, level of emotional development, and knowledge they had at the time. So it's crazy. It's talking about storing family trauma, or this main trauma probably has to do with your family, and it could have even been somebody in your close family that did this horrible thing to you. And either way, it could be something that many people in your family have experienced. And it says find forgiveness in your heart. So you're being called to let these things go because they're hurting you. That's the problem. Like, even if this isn't something you've experienced in this lifetime, you've stored it. Like, your chakras are taking a hit from this storage of this trauma that exists. Like, it might be something you're completely unaware of. Tap into your divine motherly nature as you practice forgiveness and unconditional love. Look for opportunities to heal any old wounds with family members and find ways to connect with them, whether it's through a phone call, sharing a meal, or planning a visit. If connecting directly is not possible, try finding peace through meditation and by setting the intention to transform any negativity into feelings of love. So, I don't speak to certain people in my family, so sometimes you've already made that decision to like completely cut someone off. And like, I totally respect that. I mean, I did it myself, so I understand when somebody really has to be cut off at that level. But you can make peace with yourself. If somebody was your abuser, let's say, like, no, don't talk to them, but you can, like it said, do meditations or get therapy or journal and hang out with your friends and become a part of your community and connect and ask to release and ask to forgive in your heart, doing meditations or just even before you go to bed at night. So this reading is a lot about forgiveness and letting go of guilt and letting go of fear and connecting and seeing that connectivity throughout life and releasing these traumas that have happened over and over again and seeing things from a higher perspective and then spreading that joy and spreading that wisdom with other people to the point where you have a jumping off point to go off from and then create art that other people can experience and make this beautiful family, this loving family, and build it all back up again. And I think that that's everything I have for you today, pile number 4. I hope that this reading resonated for you. I know it was a little bit dark, and I am sorry for that, but I think it's time to connect and take a look at the higher picture. Like, no, this thing wasn't good. And like, trauma is not good. It's very sad and it's very difficult to get through. And I'm not saying it's like a light switch. Like, it takes time to connect and do spiritual work and find ways that are healthy to release this. It's not a one and done sort of thing. It's work. It's work on yourself. It's going deep in. It's maybe even reaching out to a professional, depending on the level of trauma that you've dealt with. But yeah, I'm going to leave all of the decks that I used today down below, as well as my tip information and my Amazon wish list. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day, and feel free to subscribe if you'd like to watch more videos like this. I also have a couple more videos in my playlist. My dog is crying, so I'm gonna get off here, but I love you. Goodbye.